I'm David Seys and I'm 63 years old.
And what do you do?
I am now a voiceover artist
And your sport?
and my sport is now ultra distance running. Ultra is anything over the marathon distance.
Where do you do it?
Where do I do it? Mostly in the Sahara or in the deserts, but I have done it in the Himalayas as well. Anywhere where it's remote from civilization.
And why is that?
Because of the challenge of being in a place where a person shouldn't be. So you have to be self-sufficient during the period of the race, and the only thing you really need is water, of course.
How long do the races last usually?
The races are all different, as opposed to a marathon, which is from point A to point B in a city usually, and on road. The ultras each have a different discipline, so they can be a non-stop race, or they can be a stage race, and even the stage races have different methods. Sometimes your kit is carried to the next stage, sometimes you have to carry your kit on that stage yourself. The Marathon des Sables, that was the first one I did, and the way it came about was that I'd done marathons all over the world. I run for the TV Times Leukemia Research Team, and I'd raised quite a lot of money like that. But there came a point when I couldn't keep on putting out the hat and asking the same old people for money. And I also got to a stage where, at the age of about 49 or 50, I wasn't going to get any faster on the marathons. So I started to look around for a challenge. I knew that in a marathon I was going to start at be at the start line, and sure enough I was going to get to the end line. The challenge seemed to have gone, and that's not to take it away from people who are doing their marathon for the first time, because it's just as big a challenge to them as it was to me when I did my first marathon. But looking around for a challenge, I came across the Marathon des Sables, and that is 150 miles in 6 days. Some of them are less than marathon distance, some of the days, but there is one very hard session which goes through into the night, which is 85 kilometres, about 55 miles. Not many people in the UK had done ultramarathons at that point, so there was a lot of research had to go into how we went about it, what sort of food we'd take with us. In the Marathon des Sables, it was totally self-sufficient. You had to carry all your medical kit, all your clothes, all your food, everything you needed for the week. The only thing that we were given was water, and that was 9 litres a day, which was quite enough actually. And they gave us a Berber tent to sleep in at night, which I prefer to just take my sleeping bag out into the desert and look up at the stars. The last big thing I did for leukemia research was the Marathon des Sables, and I went flat out to get as much as I possibly could and came away with 35 grand for doing it. Every race is different, and where it's different from marathon running, that there's something about the race, like the Himalayas. There was just a wonderful moment when you got up at 6 in the morning, started the day's stage, and there were 4 of the highest peaks spread out in front of you at the top of when you were at the top of the mountain. Training for marathons used to be that I'd have to do a lot of speed work to get because I was going for personal bests and that sort of thing. I'm never going to win a race, but at least you were trying to better yourself each time. Training for an ultra, you forget about the speed work. It's all down to getting those joints hardened up and stamina of just keeping going and setting your mind to it. I will average, with stops, about 2 to 3 miles an hour.
Wow.
But that's with the stops.
Yeah, so you actually...
So I'm going at about 4 to 4.5 miles an hour.
Okay, so...
Very slow.
Yeah.
and it's the desert shuffle, as
Yeah.
I've explained. It's normal running, marathon running, whatever. Pick your feet up, kick with your heels, and you get a longer stride. You know, I had all that training, and that's out of the window. It's don't pick your feet up, just poodle along.
So you weren't a sort of sporty child or anything like-
Absolutely not, and I still
Yeah.
am not. I am still no athlete.
Yeah.
I'm a round, tubby guy who can just go and go and go. Now, I want to inspire everybody out there to be able to touch their toes. And this is with no shame, so that you can see my bald pate. Here we go.
Fantastic.